Hello, I just received my Sony PRS-T1. It's a 6-inch Wi-Fi reader. I got it for free by applying for the MBNA credit card. So it is a $120 value e-reader I got for free. So inside the box, you can see there is the reader itself. We have all kinds of menu and the USB cable, and also stylus. So as for the reader, it has a SD card slot. Again, it's a 6-inch reader. It's a touch screen. Okay, on my left hand is the 5-inch Sony reader, and my right hand is the 6-inch Sony reader. Okay, it is quite a bit larger. And about the thickness, it is it's about the same thickness. The difference between the 5-inch and the 6-inch is the 6-inch has a SD card slot in here, and it also has headphone, so you can listen to the books or listen to the music. If you ever ask the question whether you should buy a tablet or an e-reader, the answer is also always a tablet. Not because the tablet is better, but because the e-reader is only for people who read books. If reading book is not your major activity, then go ahead and buy an iPad or Android tablet. But the advantage of using an e-book reader is that it's lighter, cheaper, and also the text is sharper on the screen. And the most important thing actually is the battery. Because when you leave, it has properties like a paper book. For example, if you leave the book like this, it does not cause any battery. That is the main significant difference between a tablet and the e-reader. Now let's look at the feature for the PRS-T1. At the bottom, it has the charge, the mini USB port, the headphone port, and also the power button. So you just press it, and then you will power on the device. In the older device, you have to slide it like this, so it's much easier than the older device. And it has Wi-Fi, so you can use it as a browser, but the browsing experience is probably not going to be very good, because this is you can use it to buy books, you can use it to look at some text like Wikipedia, but for other websites, especially the graphic intensive website, it probably would not fare very well. And also because the processor is mainly designed for turning page instead of browsing sites, so the result would not be that good. So if you go to the website browsing, say I type in the URL address. By the way, the touchscreen for the new Sony reader is much more sensitive than the old device. So it is much easier to type and then you can zoom it by just using the pinch. So you actually support multi-touch, which is very good. And of course, the main feature for the reader is to read books. So you click on the books just like the old one. And then you will continue to the last page you have read. And I'm opening the same page on the 5-inch reader and the 6-inch reader. And you can see the 6-inch reader has a little bit more text. And it also has, the size of the text is about the same. On the old reader, there's a zoom button. You can use it to adjust the font. But on the new reader, it's much easier. You can just use a pinch to zoom in and the zooming is much faster than the old one. And to zoom it out, you just pinch it back. So this is very useful when you need to read a map or something. You can also adjust the default font size, so you don't need to zoom in every time. So that this is just the default font size. So every time you open the book, you will use that size of the font. The button at the bottom is a little bit different from the old one. The main difference is the zoom button is replaced by the back button. So this is the back button, and if you go back, sometimes you will clear the previous option. Sometimes you will just go back to the previous selection. And when you're reading the book, you have a lot of options. To add a bookmark, you can just tap once on the right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner. On the old device, you have to tap twice. And to look up a word in the dictionary, you just press one of the word, give it a long press, and then you can check the dictionary at the bottom, or you can go to Wikipedia or Google. So right now I just go to Wikipedia to check the word, which is very useful actually. But you have to press the back button to go back to the page, and that seems to be a little bit hassles, yes. And when you long press on a word, you can also select the highlight or add notes or do a search. Which is also useful. The other thing is that on this button, it has, instead of options, it has the menu button, just like in the Android reader. The menu button will allow you to have navigate the page. So you have several options. You can say go to the previous view, the table of contents, and the page number. So as you can see, on the bottom of the screen, it has small residue of the previous screen. So this is the properties of the e-ink. It does not clear the screen very cleanly. But if you go back, it actually clean up the screen pretty well. Another thing is you can add notes. You can check the notes, the list of notes that you have created. You can adjust font size. You can customize the view. So you can adjust the page mode, so you can have 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, or have a landscape mode. Or if it's a PDF, you can also crop the page. So that you will, if it has some white margin, so you can have a larger text. And you can also do adjust the view. You can have original, or you can have a different contrast. So you have a darker text or lighter text. The other thing is you can do a handwriting. So handwriting on the PRS-T1 is much better than the old device because it's much more sensitive. The touchscreen is much more sensitive. Of course, it's still an e-reader. It's not a tablet, so you cannot compare it with a tablet. And if you click on the more, you can have search. So you can do a text search. You can change the orientation, change it to horizontal. Or when you press the setting, you can have, say, show the notes or hide the notes. Or you can show the information of the book. So that's about how you read the books. As for how you can acquire the book, you can go to the reader store, because this has a Wi-Fi connection, so you can go to the reader store directly to buy a book. And I would suggest you to assign, like when you first set up the reader, you will ask you whether you are which country you select. I think sometimes it will be better to select the US address, because if you buy book from the US, it's cheaper than buying books from Canada, assuming you have a US credit card. And unlike the Kindle store, the Sony US bookstore does not prevent you from buying book from them. So that's another advantage of using the Sony reader. The other thing is that you don't have to buy the books from the Sony bookstore. You can actually go to the Kobo bookstore. Of course, you have to do it on your own computer. You cannot do it directly on the reader. But if you go to the Kobo bookstore, they have actually a cheaper price than the Sony bookstore, and a lot of time they have coupons like 10% off or 20% off. So you can buy your books from Kobo bookstore, and you can upload your books to the Sony e-store, which will work fine. The other thing is that besides the bookstore, you can also go to the public library. So it is actually quite easy to borrow a book from the public library. All you need to do is just to add a book to the library to the card, and then it will download the book for you. You will download the book directly to your Sony reader, so it is extremely convenient. I didn't expect this feature. Of course, you can read the Google books, but they don't. They still have the free books in there. It's just harder to find. So you have to press the free ebook session. And if you click on one of the books, you will say that if it's free, then it's $0. You can also have it has a feature to show all the notes you have marked on the books. So this feature is the same as the old ebook reader. You can also check the dictionary directly. So you can just type in the word and then check on the word. You can also do handwriting. So this is a picture I just draw. It's an elephant. You can also have pictures, and in here you can also select which one you want to have select as the cover screen. But for this reader, when it is in the standby mode, you can also show the book cover instead of some selected picture. Of course, you can have music, so any MP3 music you can download to your book, and you can listen to the music when you read the book. When the music is playing, it will show it on the status bar. So, for example, when you are reading the book, right, you can press the status bar and you can play or pause the music, which is much easier than before. So let me just stop the music first. Setting up the Wi-Fi is also very easy. You just go to Settings and Wireless Network Settings, and then you can do you can check the different options. If you click here, it will show you all the available wireless network. Of course, if your Wi-Fi is password protected, you will need to enter the password. For the settings, it does not allow me to say adjust how long it go to standby. So in the previous reader, I can say if I don't want to go to standby, I can keep the book to be on all the time. But for this reader, it does not have such options. If you go to here, it will shut down the device totally. And if you go to About, it will show you the version of the eReader. The newest firmware is 1.04. When you connect it to a PC, make sure you download the new reader library. They have an older one and a new one. The older one only work for the older reader, and the newer one will work for the new reader. Oh, by the way, the ebook reader also comes with a stylus, but the stylus does not fit into the ebook reader. You have to buy a separate cover to fit it in. Okay, of course you can adjust the date and time. Application preference, you can adjust say which dictionary. You can use eight kind of different dictionary. If you're French, you can have a French dictionary, or Spanish dictionary. Picture setting is the what picture you use for when it's on standby mode. The font size preference is the only options you can have for the books. General settings, you can adjust the page turn preference, so you can if you swipe here, it's going back, and by default if you swipe down, it's going forward. Or you can use the arrow button at the bottom. And here's the place you can select whether you want to be Canada or United States. The advantage of you using United States, you can buy cheaper books from the United States. If you buy it from Canada, you might need to pay extra. So that's about it. Thank you for listening.